am so excited about our special edition show.
You should be. You've only been talking about it forever.
Oh my God. So today we're doing a very, 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 for me, it's very, 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 very special edition show. We are covering RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 7, the winter season. RuPaul likes to make things as complicated as possible for her titles. And then, of course, she threw us a curveball and said, let's do more than one episode because we're not busy. So we had so much to watch.
It was a lot, but it was good. But it was a lot.
Yeah. Okay, this was your first time watching like a full episode, right?
Yes, I have never watched a full episode. I usually just watch the clips that you send me.
Yeah.
So not only was it one full, but it was like two fulls and then a half because the first one was like 20 minutes, I think, longer than
Yeah, it was like
usual.
an hour and 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, well, I'm glad you watched it. Welcome to my bubble. I mean, this is something I've literally always wanted to do. I've literally watched the reviews of other people. Specifically, I watch every single week the Pit Stop, which has different hosts. I watch Bob the Drag Queen with his first impression. I watch Bussy Queen. I watch Monet Exchange. I mean, I literally watch reviews all the time, and I've always wanted to do my own. And before anyone started, yeah, well, but I wanted to share a little backstory because I thought, you know what, some people might be like, and what makes you the expert on drag? Well, I'm not an expert, but I got a lot of experience, and I wanted to share a little bit of like memory lane and some things that have gone on in my life. And so I have to start with like the history. So back in 2004 is when I moved to Orlando, and Southern Nights was the first club that I ever went to, and it's still open. It's still my favorite place. And at Southern Nights, I remember that we walked in and it was all a lot of like culture shock because I'd never been to anything gay, much less a gay club where there's a lot of stuff going on. And a drag queen walked by, and it was none other than Miss Corey. And Miss Corey, in all of her Coryness, was in gold and shining. And I was like, oh, what is that?
I love that picture, by the way. That's such an
I
awesome
mean, Miss Corey blew me away. And I mean, I was in awe. And I remember from that moment, it was Miss Corey, it was Najoni, it was a lot of people, but those were the two that really stuck out. And I was in awe. And it never changed. I think drag queens are amazing. I think they are the heroes of our LGBT bubble, and they're so creative and fun and exciting to watch. And so as the years went on, of course, I made you go to as much drag events as possible. And so here's one that
I loved it. Look at me, minus 30 pounds. And how many years?
and a little tan or two in that picture, right? Like a little bit of tan. But that
I
is,
don't know. I was like glowing.
yeah, no, you always are, darling.
What year? What year was that?
Oof, that's
Do you
hard.
even know? Like
If I'm
2010-ish, maybe?
I was gonna say like it was after '08. 2010 makes sense.
So a good 10 years for
Yeah.
sure
Yep. So
from
that
that picture.
and that drag queen club kid, of course, is Leslie Quick, known in Miami. And so I also am quite a bit thinner in that picture. So we'll move right past that. And of course, later on, I went on to have some really amazing drag queens as friends. Of course, you could see there Miss Athena Dion, global
I
sensation, who we just
love
love.
Athena. I love Athena. She's so beautiful.
Yes, as a
I
person.
remember we used to go watch her like that was also like a good 10 years ago or so. We would go
The living
when
room.
she was like first getting her name really out there. And I remember seeing her and I was like, she
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah, we started going to living room, which is where we really got like a lot of exposure from drag queens. And so if you ever watch the Lindsay Lohan summer beach special where it's like, this is how you throw a party at Mykonos, that was Athena's voice because she was hosting those parties in Mykonos, which is super awesome. And then of course there in the middle you see Missy Miyake LePage and TP Lords, and then another one with Missy over there. So I love my girls. A lot of them are really, really close to me. I consider them, like family. And of course, here's a bunch of pictures with me and my TP Lords. I mean, I couldn't show just one because I love all the colors, theatrics, differences. I mean, no two pictures look the same, right? And so I love you, Mama TP Lords. And, I had to shout you out because at the end of the day, drag started from a very intimate place of like, oh, let me see what this is. And then I started to really fall in love with the art form. This was all before RuPaul's Drag Race existed. So it was a very different world
Yes.
than what we're used to seeing right now. Because now it's very mainstream. It's on VH1 and Paramount Plus, and it's on YouTube. It wasn't like that back then.
Yeah. That did not exist at all. And I just want to say, especially when it comes to TP Lords, like you have been such a loyal friend and such a loyal, like just supporter, of her. And you would go to the clubs where she was at, even if it was a drive away and you had to work. And I just want to I just want to say that because a lot of times people are like bandwagoners and it's fun for a night or two and then you're done. But I feel that you've
Yeah,
been such a supporter to the TP Lord's house and, like all of your girls and your friends. And I just want to
yeah,
commend you for that,
yeah.
because that just shows how genuine your love is, not only for the arts and for what they're doing, but for them as human beings and people.
Totally, totally. And it's just when you have good people, then it's so easy to support them along the way because they're all love.
Yeah.
And so I did want to real quickly before we get into the review, because we have a lot to cover. So I can't talk too long on one thing because I got a lot to cover. But I did want to share a few pictures of some of the RuPaul's Drag Race queens, because this is a Drag Race review. I wanted to share some of the ones that I've met. I've met a lot of them because I've gone to a lot of events. But let's share some of those pictures. So, of course, here you have Miss Shangela, who's now all over the world on HBO Max with the We Are Here show and everything. Shangela is the sweetest. I saw her recently at Southern Nights. Detox on the right, who I also I knew Detox at Southern Nights before RuPaul's Drag Race existed. So it's so cool, and Pulse in that era. And then, of course, Miss Jessica Wilde on the left. Oh my God. And I look at my picture like, what is happening? Woo! There's a lot of tan.
What's wrong?
There's a lot of tan in that. I used to
You
spray
were
tan.
fabulous. You were
I would
feeling
buy
yourself. That's
I would
okay.
I would buy the spray tan and it'd be like just a little more. Like it like it was hairspray, but And then on the right, Miss Jujubee, of course, infamous for being on 100 seasons of Drag Race. She's gone as many times as possible, more than Shangela. And then on the left, we
They're both so
have Gina.
pretty.
Huh?
They're both so pretty, like beautiful.
Oh my God, I love it. So Angina on the left, iconic season 1. So I've been watching since season 1. So some people who don't realize that, because some people didn't watch season 1, but I did. And funny enough, here's a little tidbit real quick. Miss Corey was actually on a website and she was running to be placed on season 1, but one person beat her. And I'll tell you who that is in just a moment. But going back to the pictures, on the right, you have Raven, who is now RuPaul's makeup artist. So she is Emmy award-winning Raven. I think she's one of the ones that won the most out of everyone because, I mean, it doesn't get much better than painting RuPaul. And
That's
then, of course,
awesome.
you have Miss Roxy Andrews, also who I met at Southern Nights before Drag Race. And then she was really mainly known at Pulse. For a long time, she ran a lot of shows there at Pulse. So amazing. We love her. Thick and juicy. And then on the right, you have a cast from a tour. So you have Miss Latrice, who I'm hugging the most on because I love Latrice. Knew her from Palace in Miami. And then, of course, there's a bunch of girls there. There's Aja, Thorgy, and then girls that are on this season. There's Raja, there's Monet, and there's Shay. So it's super cool. When I was looking at those pictures, I'm like, hey, these are the current girls. They're back on. And
That's
so
awesome.
a few more with my girl Latrice because Latrice is one of the best humans I've ever met. One of the, I think, biggest successes from Drag Race. And it's one of the coolest things to see because she didn't have an easy start to her life. And the way her life is thriving now and the world has received her, I love it. But of course, so who beat Miss Corey? Any guesses on who beat Miss Corey season 1?
I know you're not asking me to guess, right?
You're going to be like, oh, of course, none other than Miss Nina Flowers. So if there was ever a queen that was not TP Lords that gave me extravaganza and all my life, it was Miss Nina freaking Flowers. Flowers to the
Oh
world.
yes.
My loca, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you because
Let's wait. I have to interject here just for 1 second because it has to be known that I was concerned that he was gonna get like kicked out or like be blocked out and be like this guy is just nuts. When I tell you the level of love and just support, and
love.
I mean, I'm gonna travel to Miami and then I'm gonna go to Orlando and then she's in this club and then she's in the other club and she's DJing tonight, and I was like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
True story. Like, you are you sure? Like, you're kind of getting stalkerish. I'm worried. And he was like, no, no. And it's so funny because that's a joke that I always have with him because again, when he loves so hard. And yeah, just definitely, I know you're number one
Oh my
forever.
God. It's just look at the artistry that and I love the creativity, the colors, the fun, the difference. And now Nina is most known for DJ Nina Flowers. So she'll get up in this gig in her face and makeup and artistry, and then she's DJing. It's so cool.
It
So
is.
maybe next week I'll show a few more that I didn't get to show this week because I've met a lot of them and I love them so much.
And I
So
think it's really cool that you have so many memories and you have so many pictures and so much history with these ladies, and now you're looking and then you're like, oh my gosh, now everyone kind of knows who they are too. And I think that's so
yeah.
awesome.
So one of the things I will say is that my goal with having a review is just to have a friendly conversation and chit chat. I will not be throwing a lot of shade at these girls. I mean, if I didn't like it, I didn't like it. That's okay. But I don't bash these girls because listen, it do take a lot of nerve and a lot of work and a lot of pain to get into drag. So all the respect in the world, and much less drag on a national scale where everyone is critiquing every little thing you do. So
Yeah,
I love them all. So if I didn't like their outfit, sorry, that's okay. But Pookie, just real
next time.
quick, like, so it was your first episode watching. Just, I mean, overall, what did you think? Just like an overall.
So I will say this, I loved it. I loved it. It was super entertaining. I love the costumes. I love the wigs. I love the performances. Um, and I kept thinking of Rodrigo, and I'm like, I can see why when he watches something else that's not the same caliber, he's like,
Yeah, yeah,
and again, not to knock on anybody else, because like we just said, this is, it's amazing to do and we respect it in so many ways. But first of all, like RuPaul, like I love her. She's just so awesome. She comes out and it's just like, yeah, this is why. This is
you know
why
that
she's number
RuPaul's in her
one.
60s? Do you know that RuPaul's in his 60s? That's
The
insane.
what?
That RuPaul is
No.
in his 60s?
Listen, I can't. I can't. But I did. I absolutely loved it. I have to get acquainted with the
Yeah,
whole, the different segments and what they all do and stuff like that, because this is, believe it or not, the first actual season that I watched just because I'm always behind on everything. But I absolutely loved it. I really
yeah.
did.
Yeah, and look, there's certain things that are gonna go over your head because they have past jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, you can, and what you're saying is so true. Once you watch drag on this level, and then you see other maybe some of the countries that have put shows on or something, you're like, like especially All Stars, and then of course we're now on this amazing all winners season. So to anybody who doesn't know, all of these queens won their seasons or their All Star season, and now they're back competing to be the winner of all winners. So it is kind of like the coolest thing ever. So before we get into some of the logistics of the rule changes and the things that happened, I wanted to go real quickly into their entrance looks. So we can go run through them, and we're just gonna say, did you love it? Did you hate it? What'd you think? So first is Miss Shea Coulee. I loved it. I loved it.
Two thumbs up. I
So
loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean that
So cute.
nothing bad to say about Miss Shea. You have Miss Jada. What did you think about Jada?
I didn't love it. I'm like,
It's like it's not like ew. What is that? But I'm also not like guessing. We weren't like, oh my god. Like I don't like the hair. I think the hair
no.
could have
I
been
mean,
a
it
different
wasn't
color.
awful, but it wasn't like, oh my God. It was just like,
Yeah.
okay.
It wouldn't have been my choice. And then we have Miss Evie Oddly. Now, some of these pictures are their pictures that they posted, which are all like interpretations, like professional backdrop photos. So it's not them in the workroom, but I thought that looked really cool to share it. So what'd you think about Evie Oddly?
I think her name matches her perfectly.
Totally.
That's what she wants. That's what she's going for. She kills it.
Yeah.
With what her creation is.
Yeah, she's out there. She's weird. She's twisted. The one thing I
Yeah.
will say, Miss Evie, is if we're gonna have that hair, like there's spray that holds it up. Like it was just doing this. I was like, what's happening with the hair? So that was my only thing. But yeah, the hair was my issue.
I do just feel that she is just a complete, she's just
Wild.
on her own. Like she's her own kind of,
Yeah.
you know.
On her season, I had trouble connecting with her, and after her season, I love her a lot more. I saw her in Vegas because I did go to RuPaul's Drag Race Live in Vegas. She was one of the girls there. Phenomenal. So she was really good there too. And then Miss Trinity the Tuck. So I love Trinity. I did not like this. I think there's too many different, like I have leather, then I have poofy, then I have a mask, and then I have another feather, then I have the boobs. I thought it was too many different things.
I liked it. I love it. I think it's like a Gilded Age mixed with a modern twist. Like I liked it.
It wasn't my favorite.
And I like her.
Oh, I love
I like her.
Trinity.
I was like, I like her from like there's just something about her. I was like, okay, she's my people. Like I like her.
She's the right kind of humor and sass, and she's smart,
very talented. Like she's super talented. So yes. I liked her, and I liked this. I liked it.
Trinity is actually here in Orlando. So now obviously she travels the world, but we'll have to make a specific,
Yes, we will.
You'll have to come see this Trinity in person. And then Miss Monet Exchange, one of my favorites of all seasons. Oh my God. Would I have loved this on somebody else? Maybe not, but I was like, yes. Like Monet just, when she came in with the money machine, and I love it.
It's a vibe. It's like she's a vibe.
And she rocked it and owned it. I loved it.
Yeah, I like her too.
Okay. What about Miss Jinx Monsoon?
She's giving me like Titanic-y, like just vibes, like, like just old Southern bellish kind of thing.
So we know that Jinx is the old lady of the group, and that's her vibe, and I love it, right? But I will say this. Bob's review online was hilarious, talking about, is she wearing like those cheap control top tights? Like when you see her standing, you could see like the line of the tight. I'm like, girl, it's the winners of the winners of the winter season. Like, so I didn't think it was elevated. I don't think she looked bad, but I was like, girl.
No, I actually think she looks very vintagey and classic. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't pay attention to the tights. I'm not going to lie.
The little details.
I mean, I can see a little bit of it now when you're saying it, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Jinx is truly one of the smartest and most talented queens, I think, of all time. So I'm really excited to see her back on TV after like 10 years. Yeah, she's awesome. And then, of course, Raja is from season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race, which is insane. Insane.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I didn't like this. I give it an A for creativity. Obviously, it's like super out there. I don't know. I feel like it gives me like
doilies.
I don't know, like underwater, like weird, like I don't know. It's like it's very strange.
I saw like doilies, like your grandma's table, like
I just didn't. I don't know.
So I love Raja. Raja's amazing. If you don't know, Raja used to be Tyra Banks' makeup artist on America's Next Top Model, and you used to watch her on there before she was on Drag Race. And obviously, she's a great model-esque walker. She knows fashion. She knows her references. I love the girl, and I'm so glad she's getting another opportunity to showcase what she's about. And then, of course, last but not least, the Vivienne, or Viv, who we have as the UK season 1 winner, which was super cool that they brought in an international girl, and Viv was exquisite on her season. So I was really excited because that face Like when the girls were like, "Girl, you look just like your Instagram," I was like, "Yes." Your thoughts?
I love the whole thing.
Yes,
I
yes,
love it.
it's
I love
good.
it. I think it's elegant, it's sexy, it's sassy, it's like just it's fierce. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, like she's giving you like just everything. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it. I'm excited to see what she
Yeah.
does. And then of
Like
course we
I feel
have
like you can see this on the cover of like Vogue or so. You know what I mean? Like it's very fashion forward
totally.
and not over the, it's not costumey looking, like it's I loved it.
For me, the biggest thing with her is her paint, like her makeup. It's so good, so good. Excited to see what she does. And then, of course, we had the little joke that Raven was going to be on. But you know what? As much as I thought it was a joke, because I almost didn't even put it in here, I thought what was so cool about it is I think that Rue wanted to give her a moment and say she is a winner. Because, yes, she didn't win her season, but she's an Emmy award winning. She does RuPaul's makeup. Punto. Like,
Yeah.
you won what you won, girl. So that
And
is
she looked
our.
great. I loved what she was. I loved the hat
I mean,
on. Like I love that look.
it was so good. It was so like it was such a cute little, oh my God, there's another girl. And they're like, oh, they're bringing her back. Like it wouldn't be the first time RuPaul did something that didn't make sense to the viewer. So I also was not sure if to believe it or not when it was happening. So RuPaul enters the workroom and explains that we have new rules, of course, for this new All Star season. All Stars is known for having the most twists of all seasons. So this new format, I am thrilled about it. I did not. So in the old formats, Pookie, they used to vote each other out, and it would get very manipulative and very schemy, and it was very cutthroat because you're telling somebody I'm not going to vote you out, and then they voted them out, and it's like it got so shady. Can you hear me? Am I back? Okay. Signal issues. Are we here?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like the
Yes.
past
Yes.
seasons, there was a lot of like shadiness and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see that in this season, no one's getting sent home, which is such a weird idea for a competition, right? But the idea is they will be competing, of course, to win the legendary legend stars every week. And it's basically like a point system. So the top two get a legendary legend star, and the winner of the lip sync of the top two gets to block somebody from next week getting a legendary legend star. The top four at the end of the competition will be decided by who has the most legendary legend stars. And every week when someone wins the star, what's it called? The legendary legend star. They win $10,000, okay? And they're all competing for a winning prize of $200,000, which is the biggest prize in RuPaul's Drag Race history. And the top four will compete in the lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown for the crown. Long titles, Rue. But I love it. I love all the shenanigans. So I'm excited because we get to see the girls showcase themselves for weeks upon weeks upon weeks versus in other seasons, somebody might have just messed up one week and now they got sent home and we only got to see one or two outfits from them versus now we're going to get a full showcase of each girl. So I'm really excited about that. So what came next, of course, was the legend. Miss Naomi Campbell walks into the workroom runway, and this is what we got.
That's Naomi Campbell.
Like, oh my God. Literally, I was screaming with them. I mean, there's no more famous runway model extravaganza extraordinaire. I mean, and did you expect her to be so kind with the way she spoke with them? I loved her.
I didn't expect anything because she gives nothing. For me, she gives nothing. Like she's just like you can't read her. You can't. I mean, talk about poker face.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to hear her giving good feedback, and she was on a positive note with everything that she was telling them, which was really nice. But yeah, no, even when she's giving a positive feedback, she's like, I loved it. I loved everything you were giving when you that walk is everything. And you're
She
just
lo-
like,
I love when she told the Vivian, she goes, I see a very like unbothered, I don't want to be here runway. And I like that runway. I do.
I'm like, that's her.
Like, yeah, you could tell.
It's so funny.
But then
Yeah.
of course
I
we had a
mean, she's
really
awesome. She is
special.
who she is. She's made it being the way that she is, and that's what, has made her so iconic. But it's so funny to watch her because it's like she's
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
almost like she can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Like her attitude is just like, can't be bothered.
Yeah. So then we had a really special moment, of course, with Shea Coulee, who walked down the runway, and this is her icon. So she had a moment with her. So I'm going to show you that moment to the viewers.
You know what you're doing. You have it controlled. You know how to slow it down, to bring it up to... It was perfection for me.
Wow. There aren't enough words to describe the impact that you've had on me.
Oh, bitch, you make me fucking cry.
I just really look up to you a lot, and it was really amazing to be able to get up on this runway and walk in front of you. I'd spend my whole life practicing for a moment like that.
Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. The pleasure is all mine. And to have it on TV so people know I wasn't lying. Girl.
Yes, I loved it.
That was so cute.
I love that they gave her.
Oh, she was so sweet to them.
Yeah. So I love that they gave her that moment because, I mean, that's a dream and an opportunity that you may never have again. So that was super cool. Watch. Shea will be put on runways by Naomi Campbell now because Naomi Campbell has stamped her the walker. So, yeah.
But she's also really good. Let me tell you.
Really good.
She's
really
really
good.
talented. I really like her too.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit through the rest of this show. So, of course, they had a challenge. They had to do a song. And so they performed. They all had these looks. I have no idea why we would have a group number and nobody had any cohesion with their looks. But it was super fun and super awesome. And they all pretty much did really good.
Did you see the fan thing that they were on point. That was my favorite part. Like, I was like, oh, I love that.
I love how they were like, do this, do that, do that. And then somebody was like, we have too many voices.
What was it? Too many cooks or something. Too many chefs. I don't know. They used
Yeah, that's exactly why these girls are the winners, because they respect each other's expertise. And that's amazing. Amazing. Nobody's like, no, I want to be. No, I want to be.
They made a good point, which it was like, so this is what happens when you have the best of the best.
Yeah.
Everyone has like really good ideas, and everyone, it's like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea too. Like, they're really good at it, but they all decided like, okay, there's only one choreographer. Let's.
In regular seasons, you would have had girls fighting like, no, I want to be the lead. And this was so much more beautiful. It was like, you know what? This is really what you do. Why don't we just follow you? Like, we'll give you little tips or whatever, but like, you lead it. And I love that. Just let people shine. And at the end of the day, if we have the best leader, we're all going to shine. It's a group challenge. So bravo.
Exactly.
And I really, really hope that this kind of vibe continues for the rest of the show, because it was so much fun to watch. All love. And a very different vibe from regular seasons. And then, of course, look at RuPaul! Oh my God.
Yes.
I will put money on the table that Miss Miyake LePage is already getting this bodysuit created for her. It's happening. I know it. I see it. It's going to happen on South Beach. And of course, Michelle Visage looks amazing. Carson Kressley.
I love it.
Cameron Diaz! Oh my God. Another A-list celebrity, right? Like, really, 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 really cool panel for the first episode. And then
let me tell you, I love Michelle. I can't with her.
She's everything. I want to be her friend. Like,
I love her.
Yeah.
She's like, she cracks me up.
Yeah. So then, of course, RuPaul throws in a surprise and performs for us, which never happens on anything but a finale. And normally it's like a 10-second clip. This was like a full number. I will not be showing a video because I don't want YouTube to block the video, but it was amazing. It was so fun to watch. I love her always like just surprising us with something different. She's like, oh, you want to see it? Oh, okay.
I know what's so funny. She's like, Cameron's like, oh, but now? And she's like, yep, right now. Let's do this.
So
I
with
like
that
that was
said,
cute.
we're going to go to the runway. So the runway was their crowning look. So it was their interpretation of crowning. And so we're going to go through the looks, starting with Miss Shea Coulee, giving me everything from her culture. I love the hair crown. I love I loved it, loved it, loved it. You?
I liked it. It was awesome. It's just they're so creative. I don't know. It's just like you're looking at this and there's like I mean, we can sit here and dissect it for days, but we don't have the time, honey. We got to get going. So it's a yay or no. I loved it. I think it was awesome.
Yes. And then we have Miss Jada Hall. I did not like this. I don't know what this is. Like, I love the hair and the little crown at the top. You can't see it in the picture. But the bodice looking skin tone, like there's not a body, and then these yellow patches on the I don't know what it is. I don't love this.
I would have to agree with you. I think that if that middle part would have maybe tied in a little differently, there does look like something is
A
off.
disconnect.
I mean,
Yeah.
she looked beautiful,
Yeah.
but I didn't love what she was wearing.
Yeah. And then we have did you get it? She said, it's a crayon, it's a crown, it's a crayon crown. Like,
yeah, I got it.
Love it. And then look at these pictures. So these are the ones on her page that she posted. Look at her pictures of her drawing RuPaul and her standing next to her. That's so cool.
She's so crazy. She's
I love it.
That's what I mean. She's like in her own world. I mean, listen, creativity, like the makeup, look at the detail of the eyeshadow. I mean, she was on point, but she's just a character on her own. I feel like she could have her own show.
Well, she's in Vegas for a reason because she's really entertaining. And the thing with me with Evie is when Evie laughs, I lose my mind. Like the laugh is so ridiculous. I'm like, Evie, what's happening?
Yeah, she's just, I mean, like I said, I think her name, like she picked it well.
Yeah. And then of course, oh my God, she brought the whole living room couch to the runway. I love it so much.
I loved the headpiece and how it had the dangling, like, it was like this whole headpiece that turned into her earrings.
Good.
I loved it.
It's so
her
good.
hair.
Yeah, it's so good. If you want to follow these girls on Twitter, Trinity specifically is tweeting a lot of behind the scenes information after each episode airs. And one of the things she said that I thought was hilarious, and you would never know, is that every time she got to the end of the runway, they had to pause and somebody had to come and rotate the whole dress because she couldn't turn it by herself.
She couldn't move.
I think that's hilarious.
It's everything, though. She looked
literally
amazing.
like Cardi B at the Met Gala. Like, it's so grandiose.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Good job.
Yes,
Trinity.
yes.
Monet, okay. I love you so much, Monet. If you watch this, I love you so much. What?
So did you get the background of it where she was doing a tracksuit? Because like she brought in like the 90s and
Yep.
I will say this. I love the shoes. I used to want a pair of those shoes and I was never able to afford them.
But with yellow.
No. I love the shoes. The shoes are super cute and they were super in and
You're finding the happy comment.
Those shoes, I would literally go buy those shoes right now and rock them because I never got to wear them and I loved them. It was like the shoes.
Look, I love Monet very much. I thought this was a miss. I didn't understand why we would put a yellow shoe. Like I don't like any of it, honestly. But if like the shoe was blue or pink, or maybe one blue, one pink, at least that would have been like cohesive head to toe. The shoe took me out of it completely. I also don't understand this. Let's elevate a tracksuit. I don't like. It's like a jacket, and then you rip. I don't like it. We're gonna move on. Jinx Monsoon was amazing.
You talking about Met Gala?
This was amazing.
That's Met Gala ish.
This was amazing. Amazing.
I loved the leg out.
Love the leg out. Love
It was like, don't get it twisted. I liked that.
I like the way she just carried herself, and then she was like, and leg. Like it was like at
And
the end.
yeah, it was
so
like
good.
elegant puta.
But the
Elegant,
crown,
elegant.
the whole look, the face,
It
the
was good. It
color
was good.
choices for her hair, like Jinx for me was a 10 out of 10. That was really good. Miss Raja. So one of the big things with Raja, of course, was she was playing off of her name, which means royalty. I think it means king, actually. Raja means king. And then in her season, she had a very Marie Antoinette look. So this was kind of like an ode to that look that was really well received 100 years ago. So I loved it for what it was. Like it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. But I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
You were not loving it?
No.
Yeah.
Because, and let me tell you why. I feel like it is like washed out completely. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the style nor, I mean, I get it. I just wish there would have been more color.
Like a vibrancy, like boom.
Yeah, I mean, anything like blue, purple, whatever, because she already had the white, which, and I get it, I'm sure that's the look she was going for,
Yeah.
but I just felt it to be very washed out. So it wasn't anything that you wanted to, like, you couldn't take your eyes off.
Yeah. So
That's
I agree. I agree. It wasn't terrible, but I would have
Yeah.
changed a couple things for sure. And then, well,
And then,
I think
Circle.
there shouldn't have been a slide there. Oops. There we go with the Vivian. Also, I thought looked. I mean, again, I think I'll be saying her face the whole season, but I wouldn't have done everything monotone like that either.
Yeah.
I felt very washed out too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love I love like the neck up kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
But it's
mean?
just the
Like
face,
the
the
hair is
extension. I
beautiful,
mean,
the makeup is on point. And I do love the style of the dress. I think it's very flattering. Like her body looks great.
yeah,
But yes, I would have thrown something a little bit more.
pop. So I
Yeah,
will
and
tell
I
you
don't
this.
think I love the color shoes with.
Yeah, it was just more kind of nudish, peachish, monotonish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have our winners that are selected, and I think they chose wrong. Because they put Monet up, and I was like, no, Monet did not win that runway. And it is very well known in the drag race world that a lot of the points in their system come from the challenge, not the runway. I think that's stupid. I think we should count both of them. I think her runway lost it, and I think Jinx should have been on the top with Shay, is what I think. What do you think?
Well, I think I'll have a better review on that next week when I've seen a few runways and to me, I was like, they did great. I think they're all so good. It makes it very difficult unless you've been watching
Yeah.
this trajectory from day one and so you can sit and you can critique or you can give your opinion based off of the knowledge of each girl because you've been following them and you know their strengths and you know their weaknesses. So it comes from a more knowledgeable place,
Yeah.
I feel. For me, being my first 2 episodes, I'm looking at like the first thing that stands out, the outfits and what, their lip singing and their hairs and,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
I do think
mean,
that Jinx deserved it. I think her musical number was funny. She got into that crazy little mom voice, and then I think her runway was exquisite. So I just wouldn't have chose Monet. Whatever. So they did that, and then they literally lip synced to probably the most hilariously random, ridiculous song choice I've ever seen on RuPaul's Drag Race. Old MacDonald Had a Farm by Ella Fitzgerald. I was like, what is happening? Like,
not only was it Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but it was like a remix of it. And
it was a choice. It was a choice. I mean, I love what Shay did with it specifically. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. This is how we do that.
That's why it was like, oh yeah.
I wouldn't have known what to do with that. I would have been like, what are we doing?
I would have been like Monet. Like that's the whole thing. Like I would have been like, she was just like, all right, we're gonna do this. She was all like crazy, like getting into all that. I was like, and the way that she used her whole body, that's what I loved. Because yes, it was a lip sync battle, but she used her whole body.
It's so good.
And I loved it.
And so something that we've also never seen before in Drag Race is that when they're backstage and they think that they're going to win, they have the opportunity to change their outfit. So that's never been done before because that's just not the format. So that's why both of them came out in completely different outfits. But again, guys, follow Trinity on Twitter. It is so much fun if you're a Drag Race fan, because she's like, we didn't know this was going to be the format. So then we started doing this. And by the end, I was like, girl, I don't got no more clothes. Like, I thought it's really fun to have that insider view of somebody who lived the experience. So really, really cool. And then, of course, so Shay wins and she gets to choose somebody to block with the golden glitter plunger. I don't know why we have a plunger, but okay. And she gives it to Trinity. I think this is so stupid and so funny, the way they walk by each other and I think it's hilarious. I laughed the whole time. You're blocked. Like, I'm going to use that meme for a lot of things with people.
Yeah. Well, they were saying a lot of crazy things when she was walking. I was like,
Yep. They were. Oh my God. I loved it. It was super fun. And of course, I think the block is a compliment because it's like, you're that girl that I am.
Yeah, you're the one I got to keep an eye on you because you can potentially win this.
But I mean, nobody wants to be blocked. I, again, would have blocked Jinx just because I think Jinx is one to watch. If they're underestimating her, they're crazy. So we have a scoreboard on episode 1. We have Monet with 1 point and Shay with 1 point, and Trinity was blocked. And so we are going to slide right down this road into episode 2 because that's what we're doing today. And of course, this was the legendary Snatch game. This was shocking that this was on the second episode because this is the show this is the one that everybody waits all season for. It's usually like 5 or 6 or 7 episodes in. But they did it second episode on the premiere night, which was hilarious. I could not.
Can you very quickly?
Yeah.
What the hell? I was so confused. I was like,
So there was an old game. Yeah, so there was an old game. I don't know if it's 80s or 90s, whatever. It was called the match game. And this was the format. There was 2 people that were on the left side, the host, and then all the invited people. And they asked questions like this. And the goal was for you to match the person. That's it. In RuPaul's Drag Race world, you have 2 goals. One, obviously, to imitate something. But more than anything else, the goal is to make RuPaul laugh. If you make RuPaul laugh, it doesn't even matter what the hell you're doing. It's just you win. You win.
Okay. Well, RuPaul laughs a lot. A lot. She's very entertained by all of this because she was cracking up the whole time.
Well, I think it was hilarious. And again, you don't have the reference. This was one of the best Snatch games of all time. That IMDb rating has since gone up to a 9.9. So it is the highest rated Snatch game of all RuPaul's Drag Race history. Woo!
We got through that.
I'm not even drinking. I'm just hot. So there was no way I was going to be able to show each girl and each face and go through all that. So I just wanted to show like the stage there. And then of course I zoomed into one here, which was the second round. They had 2 different rounds. That's also another thing. They never had 2 rounds. Like it was like, wait, what's happened? What are you pointing at, Trinity?
Huh?
What are you pointing at, Trinity? Is it?
I died. I died. I was like, bah!
I love from the first moment. He's like, somebody help me up.
It was amazing. I mean, just even when she said she was gonna do it, I was like, yes, because I love him
It
so
was so
much.
good, and the voice makes sense. Like it's so good.
It was
And
good.
funny enough, Twitter backstory, they told her not to do him because somebody else apparently on a season that maybe they're filming right now was talking about doing him, and they said, well, just bring him just in case. And she was so happy that they let her do him because obviously it was a really good character, and he did write to Trinity and said this was an honor. I loved it, so I love that. Like super
Yay!
cool.
He liked it.
Yeah, I think it's
just
like
I
the
loved
ultimate
it.
compliment. Like the artist
Yeah.
actually saying like you killed it. Very cool.
It was good.
And in the history of Snatch Game, that's the coolest compliment. So when Roxy Andrews did Tamar Braxton, Tamar wrote to Roxy, and Roxy ended up going on tour with Tamar doing her hair. I mean, like,
Listen, I may have not known the game and I didn't know what was really going on, but I knew that.
yeah,
When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's good.
yeah, it was really, really good. Of course, like there was a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if you would even realize this. Snatch Game runs for like 4 or 5 hours. Like it's insane how long they're on those sets for. And
Yeah.
we see 10, 15 minutes, you know? But I did want to show this, which was, I didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, what is it? Like, yeah, she was funny in her character, but I'm like, what is that? And apparently, again, this is an old 80s reference of a puppet that was used in Solid Gold and different things. But Raja's all about the history. So, you know, I love what, you know, they did with the puppet sticks and just how crazy it was, made it funny. I had no idea what I was looking at. This was so funny to me. The fact that his name was Lucy, that alone, I was crying. He's like, hey!
I just feel like
I love it so much.
so this is the biggest like slap in the face, biggest.
It's so funny.
I was a Baptist, so I'm gonna be Satan and I'm gonna make him gay and put a crown. I mean, it was just like
I could not stop laughing. And then Trinity's laugh is very contagious. And he was just like, hey, and then he would giggle. And I was like, this is so funny. Another fun fact, he actually had the burn book from Mean Girls because he wanted to have the burn book as the note, but they couldn't do it, I guess, because of copyright and whatnot. But I think that it's just hilarious.
I was just like, and I do want to say this, the creativity, like the
Oh
shit
my
that they
God.
come up with.
It's so good. Like, if they were to tell you, hey, be a celebrity.
Never in a million years. I would
Poogie, right now, if you had to pick one real quick, you're gonna get, who would you do?
J-Lo.
J-Lo.
I'd pick somebody that I can easily
I would pick
come
Kelly
up with an
Clarkson.
outfit or something because I love her so much.
I would pick Kelly Clarkson because I could just like scream and jump up and down a lot and people would get it. Like I wouldn't, yeah, I don't know. Like it's not easy.
At all. But
Yeah.
but that to come up with that, it's not easy to come up with a regular celebrity.
And then, of course, I wanted to show Diana Vreeland because when you see the face next to it, I was like, man, that's something
That makeup is good. Like
really
she
good.
did a good job.
Oh, it's really, really
Yeah.
good. I love when she emphasized her language like bodega. Like it's just the little things that are so special that make it really, really funny. Yeah,
It was good.
really, really good. And then, oh my, Jinx is so ridiculous and such a superstar. And I have to show a clip because I'm obsessed.
I'd like to take a moment. Is that my camera? Yeah. I'd like to take a moment. You see, there's a veteran named Dave who's been on your show, and he said he was worried that he killed me.
I think I might have killed Judy Garland.
And I want to say, Dave, if you're watching, you're not responsible, darling. It's all right. You're forgiven. Yeah.
There you go, Dave.
The way that Michelle lost it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't show the other clip.
Oh my God, the Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
No, the Coke one. I was like, oh my.
But even the innocent one where she was like, what's over the rainbow? She's like, it's a set, Rue. It's not real. The answers were
Nobody knows.
so smart. Like, it's Hollywood. God.
Yeah, no, I can't. She was funny.
It was.
The stuff that they say though, that it's like I wasn't expecting certain things. They say things and I'm just like,
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna show you some of like the snatch games where people. So RuPaul gives you a setup like what was over the rainbow, and people miss it, like they don't know how to answer it, and they just drop it, and then Ru's like, okay, like the last season of Snatch Game was.
What would you have said to that question?
What's over the rainbow?
Yeah.
I probably would have said Lucky Charms.
Lucky. Well, you would have said something. I would have said something similar. A pot of gold, honey.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
No, yeah, but people really missed that. Was genius. Genius.
That was like the answer to give. Like, what do you mean?
It's just, it's what they said to her after Jinx. That's a masterclass on acting, on delivery, on just how to imitate somebody and still insert your humor. The fact, the way she was grabbing her mic and pulling the cord. And then my favorite moment was at the very end where she's singing RuPaul's song. So here's the backstory to that. So the song used to say, may the best woman win. And they changed it to may the best drag queen win, to be inclusive. And that's why Trinity, as Leslie, they changed it to drag queen.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So, oh my God, guys, like this was hilarious. So we got to move on because I could laugh about Jinx all day. I could do a whole show on Jinx. Just literally, I think right now, Jinx is my winner. Right now, I'm saying it. Episode 2. Right now, she's the one to beat. We'll see what happens. So then, of course, we go to another runway and RuPaul. Oh my God. Look at this.
Can we talk about her?
The waist, just it's so good.
I just feel so. I learned very recently, because I didn't know this about her, that when her mother was pregnant, she saw a psychic, and the psychic told her that her child was going to be a star and was going to be something really big. And her mom would tell her that story. And she's like, I just grew up knowing that I was going to be something big. And I just love that. And when I get chills when I say it, because it's such a, like, we say it all the time, and it doesn't really sink in to where it's like, we become what we tell ourselves that we're going to become. And we struggle with that. Most people in the world struggle with that. And just to hear her just so nonchalantly be like, well, I was told this, so here I am, and I love it.
Yeah, it's so good, and it is true. You know, you are going to become what you believe, what you listen to, what you say to yourself. And Ru's done what nobody's done before. This is not new. This is newly celebrated on this extreme level, but Ru's been doing this. Ru had a talk show. I think it's the 90s, right? Am I right?
I remember you sending me clips, and oh my God, I love this and I love that. And
the 90s, guys, like we're talking about 30 years ago. This is not new. Ru's been in the game their whole life. I think it's amazing. So let's go through the runway looks. This is the pleather principle, because we don't do leather anymore, apparently. And we're starting with Miss Shea Coulee as this Catwoman creation. Thoughts? Nope. I love the whip. Why wasn't it black? Why wasn't it more leather? It looks like canvas. Like, again, she looked great, but it didn't look leathery.
So, aside from all of that, just the mask, not even going down from the mask. I don't like the way it's not. It's kind of like,
it's not a mask. I can see your whole face.
The holes are huge.
It's like, I know who
It's
you are.
covering
I
her
know who
nose
you
in a
are. I can
weird
see
way.
your face. Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I
I
like
was
what
like,
you wanted to do.
"Hey, what
I
are you wearing?"
again,
And then the drawn on boobs that are too high. I don't know.
yeah. Moving on, we have Miss Jada Essence Hole.
I liked that one. I
Love.
liked it. I thought it was like sultry and sexy and like mysterious. And I like,
Yeah. She rocked it. It looks good.
I totally
love
loved
the
it.
hair. I love the
Like
color.
what I wish the other like, yeah,
Killed it.
she was giving me more of the Batman vibes than the other one just because of the mysterious.
It was like Matrix Blade-ish, whatever. What was the other movie? What's
Yeah,
the
I loved it.
Queen of the Damned, Queen of the Damned, that whole vibe. Okay. Yeah. Evie Oddly being Evie Oddly. Super cool, very crazy. I love that she had the doll because I would have never understood the reference without the doll. So I appreciate you bringing us in.
Yeah, I like the inflatable hair.
Yeah, super cool.
That was different. That's totally different. I was like, it's inflatable.
It's
I like
balloons.
it. I kept looking at it like, wait a minute, that's not a wig. That's like tiene aire. It looks good.
Yeah. And then we have Miss Trinity. So good.
I loved this one. Everything about it. The colors, the style, her body in it, her
It's
makeup, her
so
shoes.
playful. It's like playful, fun, kiki. And then you're like,
Candyland.
oh, it's also sexual. Like, it's so good.
This is Candyland to me. I saw this and I'm like,
Candyland.
Candyland. I like it. It's
what childhood did you have? What board game were you playing?
You've never seen Candyland where she just looks like she's cotton candy.
No, yeah, but I don't think this version was in your board game.
I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna pull it out.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, we love Trinity. Good job. And then Monet, I loved it. I thought it was very different. I never would have picked brown on the runway, but I don't know. I think because it was so different, I was like, cool, liked it. You did not. Got it.
So here's what I did not like about it. And maybe it was meant to be that way. It's such a mix of like masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
That I don't know how I feel about it because the top part seems very masculine to me.
It looks like Batman armor.
It does. And then the bottom, and if that's what she was going for, then
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't, that's the only thing I didn't like. I don't mind the style if it would have just not had the top. Pick either one or the other, kind of.
Yeah. Just cohesive in the whole look, head to toe.
Yeah.
And then Miss Jinx, I love this. I love what she said. It's like Mary Poppins on BDSM. Like, it's so good. I love the bustle butt movie.
This is giving me fairy godmother-ish.
Yeah. From Shrek.
Yeah.
I need
that
one.
It was cute. It was cute.
I liked it. I like the colors. It's totally Jinx. Loved it. Cool. Raja? Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like dying over it, but she looks good. She definitely looked younger than her first runway, so that's cool. I like the color.
I like the color combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I'm trying, it's difficult to pinpoint what it is that I don't love because when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, like she looks good. But then at the same time, it's not like, oh my God, I love it. So it's very like,
yeah. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, it's not hot or cold. It's just okay.
Yeah. And then
her makeup looks great.
And then the yes. This gave me like mafia, like I'm the wife of a hitman, like
this was just like hell. Like this was good.
And this is a prime example of knowing how to elevate something simple. Because if you look at it without the arms, it's a literal simple dress. but the boot and the hat and the extension of the arms and the stiffness of it. I mean, the gloves, the face, the black hair, like it's just a dress with arms on it, but it's so perfectly done. It's well executed.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
I agree. And then we have our top two, which was Miss Trinity and Miss, I was going to say, and Adele, and Miss Jinx. Yes. Which I expected Jinx to win because it was Adele.
Well, but I agreed with the jury on her because as much as I love Trinity, she was a little bit too, like, she threw it to comedy too much.
Yeah.
And she was like really silly with it. And I didn't feel like that song called for that.
Well, and I am hypercritical when a girl's hair goes to fall off. That kills me. I'm like, So whatever. She kept it on. Good.
It happened. She got motivated.
But it's a competition. It's a competition. So they're both very talented. The moment that happened, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, no. Jinx just took it 100%. Like I wasn't even questioning it. But I love it. I love it. And then, of course,
And I do think Trinity looked beautiful, though. I love the red hair. Like, she looked super on point.
And then Jinx decides to block Shay, which is so funny because so Shay blocked Trinity, and now Jinx blocked Shay. And I wanted to play the clip, but it was too short. Like they won't let me play like a 2-second clip. I love the moment she blocked Shay, and Trinity from the back is like, "Ha!"
That was funny. She's like,
so funny.
It's like your turn.
And we have our new lineup after episode 2. So we have 4 different people with 1 win. So we have Monet, Shay, Jinx, and Trinity with 1 point. And I'm just tracking who gets blocked to see if there becomes a pattern of somebody getting blocked more than once in a row. But I love it. I thought this was an incredible opening to the show. Probably the best start to RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars I've ever seen, if any season. And again, like I shared earlier, I hope this vibe of love and celebrating each other's strengths and who's awesome at this, let's put them up. And I mean, and I love that they're shooting the shit still. They're still like cracking on each other, but nobody's getting offended. And that is what every drag room looks like. Like, oh, you're going to wear that? And then it's like, oh, girl, just kidding. That's what drag is. So these younger queens who get all upset, oh, you're not going to talk to me like that. I'm like, I don't want any of that. I don't want it. I know it does great for TV, but I don't want it. I love this. And so I'm very excited about what is to come. I cannot wait for this Friday. I wake up very early to watch it because I refuse to open my phone and get spoilers. So I have to go to work. So it's either don't use your phone for 8 hours, which is not realistic for me, or watch it at 5 or 6 a.m. So I watch it at 5 or 6 a.m. So yeah.
And I just won't grab my phone until I'm good and ready to. I won't get on any social media and I will be okay.
Yeah, you have a lot more self-control than me, but I'm so glad that you watched it with me, that you got to like have this. I love this so much. I think, I mean, obviously this was a lot for one episode or for one episode of our show. So next week we'll only be covering 1 episode. So it'll probably be shorter, but join us next week, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time for however long this show is running for. I've heard 7 weeks. I've heard 10 weeks. We'll be doing it till it's over. So we'll be doing our special edition People Like Us show every Monday night, 8 p.m. And then, of course, join us tomorrow, Tuesday night, for our regular show where we talk about all things non-Drag Race.
And we are super interested in everybody's comments and your opinions and what you guys thought of it. Like, there's nothing that makes Mr. Juan here happier than being able to discuss these things and have people give him his feedback so that he can really get into it. So please, please, please do not shy away of letting us know exactly what you think, what you liked, what you didn't.
And listen, stay tuned all season long because you never know what Drag Race superstar might pop into our show. Things can happen. You never know. So
with all of your connections, that's for sure.
So, all right, guys, I love you. Love you, Pookie. Thank you for doing this with me. Everybody have a good night.
It was fun. And I promise to try to get better. I'll get more knowledgeable as it goes along.
You did great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Everybody have a good night. Mondays
have a
are
wonderful night. See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.